Dear innovators, how do you navigate ambiguity and uncertainty? Do you get flustered? Do you feel calm? Do you face it frequently or occasionally? Hi, this is Monica Kang at Dear Workplace, where we study trends, changes, and challenges at work with you. Today, I'm excited to introduce you to a new segment of our show, #Rethink, where I share bite-sized power insights and actionable tips for innovators. The idea came up for two reasons. One, I'm still deep in development with our next episode content. Sorry, innovators, didn't want it to rush the development and impact the quality of the work you deserve. And two, I'm in a lot of interesting conversations with leaders and innovators every day, and I wanted to find a thoughtful way to share insights from those conversations with more people easily. These bite-sized, actionable advice audio columns is one way I hope to empower you and spark more questions and courage in your journey. And today, one theme that's been coming up a lot in all my conversations with clients and colleagues is comfort with ambiguity. How do you get comfortable with uncertainty, change, and ambiguity? How do you get your employees to get comfortable with ambiguity and change? It's important, but it's not easy. It's learnable. But where do you start? Here is the secret to how I face uncertainty. You start with what you are certain with and what you want. When we face uncertainty, our gut instinct is to worry about the things that we don't have control or aren't certain about. From the weather to a project timeline to how people feel or react to a situation, there are too many variables that we don't know. But when I let my mind overthink about all the variables I don't know, I drain my energy from exploring what is possible and what I can do. While there will always be things I can't do, there will be things I can. And when we focus on what we can do, we can make progress. We can find a path. There are many moments I go back to this lesson, especially since I became an entrepreneur, where there are constant changes. But I want to channel back to how I befriended one of my mentors when I first started InnovatorsBox in 2016. I was a little discouraged. While I had a lot of fans who loved my work and expressed deep gratitude for how I empowered them with new hope on how they can be creative, I didn't have enough paying clients. To be honest, I barely had any. I was in high demand for community events, association talks, and inspirational messages, but I couldn't figure out how to be in corporations, executive rooms, and boardrooms where I knew these changes and conversations needed to happen. I knew entrepreneurship would bring a lot of uncertainty, but I did not anticipate this much uncertainty. The uncertainty of when you'll meet a client, what service they would want, or how long you may need to wait. I wasn't going to give up, but I was tempted to browse through job sites to prepare for the worst case as I wondered, what did I do wrong? So when I made it to the second round of a pitch competition that the National Minority Supplier Development Council provided in the hope to invest in under 40 minority business owners, I was beyond thrilled. Finally, here are some people who get me. I was eager to master my next presentation as the top 4 finalists would have a chance to share their work with top corporations who may give us a chance to work with them. That's a game-changing opportunity. So I did everything I could with what little I knew. I networked and said hi to every person I could meet to practice my story. I asked for advice and feedback when I could. But while some shared thoughtful advice, most looked past me. They were too busy doing their own business development to be distracted by my, quote, cute temporary side project. That didn't discourage me. But when I lost the competition and received feedback that this business model would never work, I was heartbroken. And because I was so crushed, when my friend introduced me to her friend during the networking party that night who works at a very famous tech company, I didn't overthink. I plainly shared my vision and story with certainty in what I believed in, but didn't worry about the uncertainty in how this person would respond. I realized there is no point overthinking what people may think as long as I focused on what I believed in. I knew I had to still hone how I tell my story. I just didn't know how to do that yet. So I was surprised initially when he not only beamed at my story, but said, "This is the most innovative and important business I've heard of in a long time. You should have won the competition." He then shared critical feedback as to why my story may not have landed for people who are not as familiar with creativity and innovation impact in the workplace, and how to tell that story better. "Call me when you're in SF. I would like to give you an opportunity so that more companies hear this important work if you improve on these points," he said as he passed his business card to me. I was shocked. I realized that because I let go of my fear of uncertainty, I was able to speak more clearly to what I believed in and why this work was important. I was able to share my dream with certainty because I realized there is no point in fearing the uncertainty if there is always a chance someone may not understand it. But my lesson of learning patience and getting comfortable with uncertainty didn't stop here. I sent a thank you email, eager that I finally found a new mentor who believes in my work. I didn't hear anything back. But then again, this was the holidays. Everyone is busy. I understand. I happened to have a trip to SF coming up for a workshop I was hosting at Facebook, so I wrote back a few more emails. Still, no news. This was now about 6 months after we first met. I realized what were the known variables. I had a trip to SF. I had a window of a few hours when I was hoping we could meet. I knew how far the office was in case I had to reroute last minute, and I knew his email address. I did not know when he may reply or if he had forgotten me at this point already. So in assuming good intentions and wanting to manifest possibilities, I sent one more email before I got on my flight to SF. When I landed after 6 hours, I finally saw the email I was waiting for. "I'm sorry. The last few months have been busy. Meet me at this office location and we'll talk." I was over the moon. I rerouted my trip to ensure I had time to meet him at his office and get feedback and advice. It led me to have the opportunity to present my work to his colleagues to top tech companies, building new friendships and new clients as well. I work with many of these companies and continued those friendships beyond work. I reflect on this moment when I think about my fear of uncertainty. I could have not gone to the party because I was upset. I could have not shared my story and he would have never gotten to know my work. I could have given up emailing him. I could have assumed that he didn't care. Instead, I decided to focus on what I was certain of. I was certain I had a trip to SF. I was certain I had the right email. I was certain and believed the value of my work and that I could improve to tell my story and work better. And I was certain I could find a way to find my customers. I just didn't know how. So this is the powerful framework that I share with others when they ask me, how can I get comfortable with uncertainty? Start with what you are certain about and what you really want. When we crystallize those goals, it becomes easier to face change because you are ready to reroute. You then plan for flexibility instead of feeling worried that things will change. You are not worried about when changes happen. You may not always know the how to do certain things, but you are certain you'll figure it out. To train employees how to see this, I coach leaders to see where they are now. Where am I as a leader and how do I demonstrate how I navigate change? How does my team feel about change and why do they feel that way now? How am I creating a place for my team to feel comfortable making mistakes? Facing uncertainty, no matter how often we do, takes courage and curiosity. So get curious first to understand what are you certain of and what do you want more of. As simple as those questions may sound, asking that and understanding where we are is a powerful way of reframing to let us take ownership in the story we are creating instead of letting change make us reactive. The choice is yours. Rethink your relationship with ambiguity to see possibilities. Thanks for stopping by our first Rethink series. I hope you found it helpful. Please, don't forget to take a moment to share, rate, leave a review, and ask us a question. I'll be back again with our next episode where we'll study where in the world we are going with the workplace space. This is Monica Kang, and you're listening to Dear Workplace by InnovatorsBox. I'll see you next week.